Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul.
And we've entered what looks like a new wave of car movies. There's an awful lot of them coming up in the next quarter of the year. So we're going to have a look at that.
So we do videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT time. So why don't you go check them out and go check out the rest of our library as well. We got a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and like, share and subscribe while you're at it. We'll get that out of the way too. There's 3 big car movies coming up soon. We'll actually talk about what they are in a second. But a lot of people are saying, oh, is the car movie making a comeback? Is this it? I'm not so sure. I think we need to talk about that. So what are the 3 movies in question?
Well, we got Hobbs and Shaw, which is coming out August 1st, which is,
a Fast and the Furious production.
Yeah.
Or something spin-off.
Jason Statham,
Dwayne
The Rock Johnson.
Oh, so your first name basis with The Rock now.
Dwayne, yeah. Dwayne's my brother. And then we have Racing in the Rain.
Yeah, it's out
August 9th.
August 9th.
And then we have Ford versus Ferrari, which is November 15th.
And link to previous video about Ford versus Ferrari over there. So the Hobson Shaw stuff, I think, realistically, the Fast and the Furious franchise is one of the big franchises. Love it or hate it. They're $1 billion movies now. The last couple were making over $1 billion. Before that, they were making over $500 million. So that's been a big earner for a long time. A lot of people will be watching Hobbs and Shaw to see if the spin-offs can make the kind of money.
Yeah.
Because Hobbs and Shaw is to Fast and Furious what Solo, Rogue One, that sort of stuff was to Star Wars.
It's character spin-offs rather than spin-offs kind of
little sideways stuff. So it's going to draw an awful lot of interest from the industry and also from fans in general. But is it really start of a big wave of car movies? I'm not so sure. There was a time in this has happened before. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, all the way through the 70s, in fact, you had things like Cannonball, you had Cannonball Run, you had Gumball Rally, Driver. Burt Reynolds did Hooper, Smokey and the Bandit, Cannonball Run. Burt Reynolds did a lot of films involving cars. There was a period of time when car movies were a genre. Mm-hmm. That has kind of gone away. It came back a little bit around the kind of the 2000s.
Yeah. So 2001 was the first Fast and the Furious movie. So that's when it kicked off essentially a slew of kind of like early 2000s, which goes like street racing kind of fast car kind of things. And
as you pointed out, the Gone in 60 Seconds, which covers both those time periods because there was an original back in the 70s and then there was the Nick Cage.
Yeah, the Nick Cage or the Nicolas Cage one that was in which goes 2000s.
Yeah.
The 2000. So
that was a whole period of stuff. And let's face it, I'm not the biggest Fast and Furious fan. I'm the car guy. We've done videos on anime, which you're going to see soon. He knows stuff. Car guy. Fast and Furious, not exactly my perfect thing. I'm glad they exist and they're fine. But they did usher in a decade in the 2000s of a lot of dodgy knockoffs, is maybe the polite way of putting it.
Yeah, they started off kind of like, I guess, the trend of the street racing, kind of film like Torque, which is like the
Fast and Furious on bikes.
Yeah, and Redline, which is the one that you pointed out.
Redline, which is a truly terrible film made by a rich guy who had a lot of cars and thought he could make a Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah, the budget was 26 million and it made 8 million at the box office. So
and I don't think it bothered the guy either because he was just a rich dude.
Still, I think it's whatever studio or production kind of stuff like that is going to be fucking riled. And then also which was Need for Speed, which was the counter.
It was Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. So it was the counter to Fast and Furious.
I think it was they saw the Fast and the Furious was coming. I think it might have come out at the second one. And I think Need for Speed was kind of like, we can make a series like that, and then it bombed.
Yeah. I think every studio was trying. Once the Fast and Furious started showing that it was going to make serious money, all the studios were like, what property can we get our hands on? And the Need for Speed video games were around, so they're like, hey, it's a no-brainer. And as it turns out, if you've ever seen the film, it was a no-brainer, literally. Some beautiful machinery, some terrible movie making. But yeah, so that's like, this is not the first time. But we're down to the three films that we now have as this new renaissance of car movies, which is Hobbs and Shaw. We've already talked about it. It's a spin-off from a car franchise that's actually an action movie.
Yeah.
It's not a car movie at all. There'll be some vehicles in it. It's not a car movie. Art of Racing in the Rain is based on a book. To put it very, very quickly, link in the description down below to the trailer. Prepare to cry. It's a story about a dog, or a dog is narrating a story about how it wants to be a race driver because its owner is a race car driver, and the family is obviously going through tragedy. It's going to be a tearjerker with some car racing at the edges. It's not a car movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to both crying and also picking on the analogies they make when they're like, car goes where the eye goes. It's like, yes, look where you're going is a thing in a car, and yeah, you will follow your vision, but let's not all watch that and then go out and think we can be race car drivers.
It's not my kind of movie. We watched the trailer, and which because I was literally spending. It's a really, really the budget is really high quality. The filming and stuff like that is very, very good. Which is the things. But I spent the entire time going, "Who was narrating the dog?
Yeah, who's doing the dog's voice?"
It was so familiar.
Paul doesn't have a heart, so a really adorable puppy talking about loss and love didn't get to him, and I was just sitting there like a big dope, going, "Look at the cars, they go fast." Cute dog. So we're both morons in our own way. They're just heartless. The last one though, Ford v Ferrari, which is the big ticket item, and people are like, "Oh, see, car film." Not really. It's a story about two companies fighting each other, two corporations fighting each other, really, two nations fighting each other, and then some individuals fighting each other. It's a big feud story that happens to use cars as the weaponry to fight with each other. Don't get me wrong, Matt Damon, Christian Bale, the talent John Bernthal is going to be in it.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be fantastic. Could even be an Oscar contender. Not too sure about that myself, but there's talk.
Ooh, that could, yeah, I can see that happening. It's as we've described it before in our video about it, which is it's like the Apollo 11.
Yep.
It's like the Apollo 11 films just with cars. So I do think that it could be on that level.
Yeah, and I again, really looking forward to it. It's a really great story. It's based on real events. Car nerds know the real events. Everybody else is going to be like, "Oh, that's interesting." And car nerds are going to be like, yes, it is. People like me. It's not going to start a whole trend of car movies either, though. None of these are. So essentially, this is coincidence that these three films are coming out near each other. I have a sneaking suspicion, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, that there is going to be a phase when car movies will happen, and that's going to be around nostalgia, because cars are going to start being phased out as we understand them now. There'll be more electric cars, there'll be more autonomous driving. Cars represent a certain amount of danger, freedom, excitement, all those things.
Yeah.
They're usually in movies to provide that. I think we're going to see a phase in the next 10, 15, 20 years where cars become less common, and they will actually start becoming subjects of movies again. Once anything starts to go away, people start to latch on a little bit to hold on. Yeah,
no, I definitely agree. It does make the worry of the car chase, in movies, become slightly boring.
Yeah,
it's like, oh no, our electric car's out of battery.
Oh god, yeah. Gone in 60 kilowatts. I don't know if
that's a good name.
Yeah, trademarked to TMCR. It's ours. Yeah, I don't know if I'm particularly dying for the car movie wave to come. I love cars. I don't need movies about them. Movies about them are great. It's not an area that I think cinema is particularly missing, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, "What are you saying?" I think car chases have their place. Movies like Vanishing Point, where cars are part of the story. You can do a lot of things, but usually not if you're just trying to do a Need for Speed and go, look at the pretty car.
Yeah.
It has to be more of a Green Book, where look at what that represents. That's a journey where two people spent time together in a car. That's a car movie to me in a lot of ways.
Do you think, though, just quickly, do you think that if these three movies do take off, and they take off in kind of the more kind of, these are car, as in the car community really gets behind them, that there might be maybe a couple of more car movies made just because they're just tapping into that market? I know it's a little bit of a awful way of...
I will say that if Art of Racing in the Rain, particularly out of the three movies, if it does well, there are an awful lot of novels that have been very popular that have involved some part of car culture. I think I could see studios starting to maybe back them and greenlight them. So that's an interesting question. I hadn't thought of that. I think we're going to be watching Fast and the Furious movies and Fast and the Furious spin-offs until long after The Rock and Vin Diesel are dead. Like, I think we made a joke about this recently. It'll be space bikes. Yeah. Eventually they'll be in hovering space cars talking about family.
Yeah.
Cue Vin Diesel saying family.
I got family.
There we go. He says it like 1 billion times in all the movies. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, like I just, that question that I asked is probably where I kind of like, you know, I'm coming from more kind of like, ooh, maybe the marketers will be just like, well, this seems to be popular in the car community. Maybe we'll pick out a couple of other which goes car, like, you know, esque films, or maybe they'll actually go back and do like, let's do Gumball, like, you know, the Gumball Rally remake, or
you know what, I'm down for it. I will watch it. Like, you can take my money quite easily. I am that easily separated from my cash when it comes to like, oh, shiny thing on a screen. So yeah, no, let us know what you think. I would very much like to know if you have a favourite car movie out there. Maybe stick that in the comments down below, just in case there's one I've missed.
Christine
is another great example of using a car properly. That's Stephen King making it a killer crazy object.
Her name's Christine. I like that.
And on that note, I've been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
We've been Hear Us Out. We'll catch you next time.
Beep, beep.